And good morning once again from the Ruby Princess. I'm down here on deck 7 now, the Promenade Deck. So these are the sort of 3 decks down where everything inside goes on, with the exceptions, of course, of the gym and the way overpriced spa and the one little basketball court up top. But I thought, because it is before 6 o'clock in the morning, got my cappuccino here, take you out for a bit of a walk. So you can go out this way to go outside at that point. Here is their little pub, which is considered a premium dining experience. I'm not sure I'd call it premium, but it's a nice little space and a little bit quieter, so it has a little bit of a pubby vibe to it. And then of course the shops everywhere. If you're a shopper, I'm sure you'll have a good old time here. Shopping concierge. I actually have a friend who was a shopping concierge on these ships, and they, I guess they give talks and they try and talk you into buying diamonds in each place you go to, and I don't know, just seems superfluous to me, but you know, they do the formal evenings and people really get into that, and that's a beautiful thing. This is the little library in here, and if you have any work to do, this is actually a place you can come and hide out. I will say, one of the things that's improved enormously on ships now is the internet is excellent if you buy an internet package, which you want to do. So there's the deck outside, and you can walk the whole way around it when the front is open, and that I think is based on wind more than anything else, which I guess is fair enough in its own way. But you come into these big open areas, and they're quite grandiose. This is, again, one of the older ships in their fleet. I mentioned that just because I was on a ship last summer that seemed to have sort of larger open spaces, but they will have music on and events on here all the time. So I'm on deck 7 right now. There's 6 and 5 at the back. I have 3 classic dining rooms, which are included in anyone's package. So drinks are not, unless you buy a drinks package, which you really should with the internet. And then there's a couple of upgraded places to eat in, that great big buffet. On this ship, it's at the top towards the back, and it just seems always crowded. There's a deli down below. That one, I think, is open 24 hours a day. I've been able to get coffee at whatever hour through there. And then you've got the bars and lounges all over the place. And as I was saying on the previous video, the staff are just fantastic and kind and incredibly hardworking. So always be polite to them and understand that they are a long way from their families. And I don't know how good the pay is, but I tell you what, you see people work at 6 a.m., you see them working at 8 p.m. So, you know, it's just a fair comment. These ships do go all over the world. Another little hint, now, I do like, as I mentioned, that these ships are very accessible to people with mobility issues, and I think that is a wonderful thing. It's quite fun to go through all the places that these have called. Look at this one. Been to Tasport, been to Hobart, Tasmania. And then I did see Sydney, Nova Scotia, you know, all over the world. But you go into port and you spend, you know, all of 5 or 6 hours or 7 hours. This is the Explorer Lounge. They do talks in here, and the talks are pretty good. I mean, obviously they're trying to cater to all sorts of markets. For example, they gave a talk on Charles Darwin the other day, and I was happy to come and listen to that. And the lady giving it was good information, but she had to keep saying, however you feel about his theory, you know, evolution's not a theory, right? It's sort of a fact. But you know, that's just a reality. This section through here is where they're always selling photographs, and I don't know who still buys photos, but apparently it's a big enough deal that they have staff doing it. So to each their own. This is the higher end restaurant. You pay, I think, $40 to sit down and eat at this one, and it's basically a steakhouse, but they've got a 400-gram ribeye, and they even had a porterhouse on there. Yeah, a big 20-ounce porterhouse. So if that's your thing. By the way, 2 floors down is the art sales, and I can't each their own, and people have their own tastes, but I can't imagine coming on a ship and spending that kind of ridiculous money on art that is, well, you know, the eye of the beholder. It is. We walk by it every evening just for a laugh. So, but again, for some people, you know, there are people from all over the world traveling on the ship, but the largest single group would be Americans, and so you always have that. The art, which is like the eagle and the flag, and it's not that I'm opposed to that, it's just so unrelated to what you're doing here. This is a typical example of another one of the big lounge areas in here, and this is lovely. There is a nightclub up top. I don't know how many people are using it, but you'd have live bands out here. And at the very front you have the big theater. Now the big theater is where they also gather people up if you're doing a shore excursion, and that's always one of the challenges on these ships, because you know the excursions are expensive, which, fair enough, it's a business at the end of the day, but also you really are being herded in and around. And here is the outside area. So this part is just lovely. Actually, you know what? I will turn around and I'll walk towards the back, and I will do so because of the wind in my ears. So when you get on these ships, and if you do choose to take the stairs up and down, keep in mind you will get turned around. One side there's port and starboard, of course, left and right, and one side's odd, one side's even, and it's amazing. We've been on the ship now for 7 days, I guess, and I still get disoriented. And you know, I have a pretty reasonable sense of direction, so you know, that's just part of the reality. They have the elevators everywhere, which is again wonderful for people with mobility issues. Look at sunrise over the Caribbean out here. How beautiful, beautiful is that, ladies and gentlemen? So it's like being on an all-inclusive resort. Well, it is effectively an all-inclusive, except for, of course, you're moving from point to point. The real downside is you just don't get deeply into anything. You meet lovely, friendly, kind people on board, but you might not see them again for a few days. That's also a reality. What a gorgeous morning out here. So that's just a little teaser, but I wanted to do a couple of videos, mostly because before coming to the ship online, I just couldn't find a great deal of information about it. So I'm going to come up around the corner. I think the wind will probably pick up at that point, but cabins are small but well appointed, and the showers really are small. And I'm not a particularly big person, but that's just a reality too. So there's Georgetown, Grand Cayman out there. What a gorgeous morning. So hopefully that at least gives you some sense in these two videos. Feel free to share them, and you can always contact us at 2Me Travel if you have any travel-oriented questions.